complex online support program, class 9, week 12, lesson 12, subject biology. Textbook biology, page number from 143 to 145, unit 8, nutrition, topic components of human food, resources required, biology text. Objectives. By the end of the lesson, students will be able to revise important components of food, that are carbohydrates, lipids and proteins. Describe role of calcium and iron. Components of human food. Before going into the topic, that is components of the human food, I'll tell you about the nutrients. That what does nutrients mean? Nutrients are compounds in food essential to life and health, providing us with energy, the building block for repairing and growth, and substances necessary to regulate chemical processes. So actually these are the nutrients which we are needing to get energy for our survival. We are needing some nutrients, and these nutrients are actually coming from the food that we are eating. So the nutritional requirements of human and other animals are relatively complex as compared to plants. Beside nutrients, they are also require water. So if we are discussing the nutrients, so the basic nutrients are carbohydrates, lipids, proteins. These are the basic nutrients that we are actually requiring in our diet. So first we will be discussing the carbohydrates. So carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are the main source of the energy. These are the basic source of energy for all animals. About 2/3 of total calories every animal consumes daily are from carbohydrates. What does the term calorie mean? Calorie is a unit of energy. When you hear something contain 100 calories, so it's a describing how much energy your body could get from eating or drinking. Calorie is actually a unit of energy, that how much energy are you having inside your body. So if we take the example of the total calorie, so in total calorie about 2/3 of the total calorie every animal consumes daily are from the carbohydrates. So 2/3 of the energy we are getting from the carbohydrates daily in the form of calorie. If we talk about the main source of the carbohydrate, that actually what is that main source from which we are getting the carbohydrates, so that is the glucose. Glucose is giving us the frequent energy. Beside glucose, the other useful carbohydrates are maltose, lactose, sucrose and starches. Lactose that is present in milk, starches are in potatoes, right? So but the main source will be the glucose. If we talk about the calories of the carbohydrates, that how many calories will be there in 1 gram of carbohydrate, so that is 4 kilocalorie. It contains 4 kilocalorie per gram. Now which food actually contain the carbohydrates? What are the sources of the carbohydrates? The sources of the carbohydrates are the food like bread, pastas, beans, potatoes, rice, grain and cereals. So from all of these we will be getting the carbohydrates. Okay. The second component of the human food is the lipids. Now lipids in a food are actually in a form of fatty acid that are bonded to glycerol. Now these fatty acids are of two types. They may be saturated or they may be unsaturated. If we are talking about the saturated fatty acids, So the structure of the saturated fatty acid is somewhat like carbon will be bonded to all of the um, a single carbon is bonded to hydrogen atoms. It is totally bonded to a hydrogen atoms. The lipids containing saturated fatty acids are solid at room temperature. Why they are solid at room temperature? They are solid at room temperature because the percentage of the saturated fatty acids are more as compared to the unsaturated fatty acids. The example of the saturated fatty acids are the butter, ghee, as they are solid at room temperature. But when we provide a little temperature, when we just raise the temperature, so what will happen, that they will convert it into the liquid state, because they also has some percentage of the unsaturated fatty acids. So saturated fatty acids have all their carbon atoms bonded to hydrogen atoms. The lipids containing saturated fatty acids are solid at room temperature. It is its nature that it is solid at room temperature. Unsaturated fatty acid, the second type of the fatty acid, their carbon atoms are double bonded to another carbon atom in place of the hydrogen atom. As I have told you that in saturated fatty acid a carbon atom will be bonded to the hydrogen atoms, but here the carbon atoms are double bonded to another carbon atoms in place of hydrogen atoms. The lipids containing unsaturated fatty acids are liquid at room temperature. Now they are liquid at room temperature because the percentage of the unsaturated fatty acids are more as compared to the saturated fatty acid. And the best known example of the unsaturated fatty acids are the oils, as they are liquid at room temperature. Look at the example. Butter contains nearly 70% saturated and 30% unsaturated fatty acids. Now you can see the percentage, the difference, right? So the saturated fatty acid percentage is more in butter as compared to the unsaturated fatty acids. That's why butter is solid at room temperature, right? Now where are actually these lipids required? These lipids form the membranes. Your body is surrounded by different kind of membranes, your organelles, your organs, they are protected by different membranes, so they actually help in the formation of those membranes. The sheaths surrounding neurons. Neurons are present in your brain and the protective layer of the neurons are the sheaths. So they also help in the formation of these sheaths and certain hormones. Lipids are extremely useful energy sources. About like 1 gram of lipid contain 9 kilocalorie of energy, right? What are the sources of lipids? They include milk, butter, cheese, eggs, mutton, fish, mustard seeds, coconut oil and dry fruits, etc. Proteins, another component of human food. If we are talking about the proteins, so proteins are actually made from the amino acids. When amino acids combine together in a form of long chains, they will be giving rise to a complex structure that are called proteins. So proteins are very much essential component of cytoplasm, membranes and organelles. Right? You all know about the cytoplasm, you all know about the membranes and the organelles that are present inside a human body or any living body. Right, students? So they will be the proteins are the essential components of all of these things. They are also the major component of the muscles, and the muscles includes the ligaments and the tendons. What are ligaments and what are tendons? Ligaments actually attach to one bone to another. When one bone is attaching with another bone, so they are known as ligaments. But when a muscle is attached to a bone, so that is called a tendon. So it is also the major components of these tendons and ligaments, the proteins. Why they are used? Why proteins are very much essential? They are essential for the growth. If you look at the ratio of the proteins in a small child, So it is more as compared to an adult. Why? Because a child is growing day by day. It needs more protein as compared to an adult body. Many proteins play role as enzymes. How they play a role as enzyme? We have discussed it in enzymes chapter that sometimes an enzyme is requiring a proteinaceous part, right? And it cannot work without that protein. So it also play a role as an enzyme. Proteins can be used for gaining energy also. 1 gram of protein contains 4 kilocalorie of energy. So in every 1 gram of a protein, it will contain 4 kilocalories of energy. Now the sources of the proteins, that are the meat, eggs, greens, legumes, milk and cheese, etc. Minerals. Minerals are actually found in the earth. Our body cannot make the minerals for us. We will take the minerals from outside the environment. As the food of the plant are the minerals, they are taking directly minerals from the soil. Then animals act on that plant body. They eat that plant, so the minerals are transferred to the animals. When we eat the meat of that animal, then the minerals are transferred to human body. So as they are inorganic elements, they only originate from the earth and they cannot be made in a human body, but they play uh, role in various body functions and are necessary to maintain health. Most of minerals in human diet come directly from the plants and water or indirectly from the animal's food. So mineral can also come to our body with the help of water. Water contains different kind of minerals. When we are drinking water, so our deficiency can be fulfilled by drinking the water. Role of calcium. You all know that calcium help in strengthening of teeth and bones, right? And the good source of calcium is milk, right? So calcium is essential for development and maintenance of bones and teeth. It is needed for maintaining cell membrane and connective tissues and for activation of several enzymes. So student, beside the development and maintenance of bones and teeth, calcium is also very much important in maintaining the cell membrane and connective tissues, and it also activates different kind of enzymes. And the most important function of the calcium is in blood clotting, as blood clotting is very necessary. If any of the person is injured, so its blood should be clot as soon as possible. If we are having the exact amount of the calcium in our body, so our blood will clot soon. What are the sources of the calcium? Human get calcium from milk, cheese, egg, yolk, beans, nuts, cabbage, etc. Now, if any of the person is deficient in calcium, what will happen to that body? Deficiency may cause discharge of the nerve impulses, which result in tetany, bones become soft, blood clots slowly, and wounds heal slowly. So the deficiency may cause the discharge of the nerve impulses, and which result in tetany. It is the name of the disorder. When any of the person is deficient in calcium, so the discharge of the nerve impulses will be frequent and it will result in tetany. Bones also become soft, right, as it help in strengthening of the bones, but if we people are not taking the calcium in right proportion, so bones will become soft. And as I have told you that calcium also help in blood clotting. If we are not having enough calcium in our body, so our blood will not clot faster, it will clot slowly, and also our wounds won't heal faster, it will heal slowly. Role of iron. Now iron is also present inside the body. It is present inside the blood and it is attached with the hemoglobin. You all know the hemoglobin, that is the red pigment that is present inside the blood and giving the red color to the red blood cells, right? So So iron is actually bound to the hemoglobin. So iron help in the transportation of the oxygen to all part of the body, and it is also the important component of the hemoglobin in red blood cells and myoglobin in muscle cells. As hemoglobin is present in the red blood cell, so myoglobin is present in the muscle cells, and it also helps in the attachment of the iron in the muscle cells too. Cellular energy production also require energy. Now the energy is being produced inside our body, inside our cell. So this energy production actually requires the iron. It acts as a cofactor for many enzymes of cellular respiration. We have already studied about the cofactor, about the enzymes, about the cellular respiration, and it helps to support immune functions. Immune function means that your body is a defensive, it play a defensive function against different kind of germs. So if we are having iron of the required amount, so it will also support the immune function too. What are the sources of the iron? Humans get iron from red meat, egg yolk, whole wheat, fish, spinach, mustard, etc. And if any of the person is deficient in iron, so it will lead to anemia. Anemia will be caused when there is a deficiency of iron in red blood cells, so that person is anemic. So students, this was your today's lecture. Hope you find it easy and interesting. Thank you so much.